Hello, thanks for joining me for another beer review then. Today we've got a special beer. Crack into it. This is from Goose Island and it's their Bourbon County Brown Stout 2020. And it's coming in at 14.6% ABV, 60 IBUs. If you're into beer with it to a certain degree, you're probably going to have heard of this beer. Bourbon County is what people say. It's produced every year, normally released around November time, end of November each year. This is the 2020 edition, as I've said. So this is coming in I did see it's a 1 pint 9 fluid ounces. So there we go. So this beer has been aged in bourbon barrels. Goose Island, they're out of Chicago, Illinois, over in the States. I purchased this, probably early December, before lockdowns and all that sort of thing. It was a beer that I've always wanted to try. I've never had one before. So this is going to be a bit of a longer review. So yeah, just really happy to actually, I've got 2 of these actually. So there's the crown. There's a lot of information about this beer, but we'll get into that in a minute. Let's crack it open then and get the aroma. See if there's any smoke. I've got a dark suit on, so you might see a little bit. Oh, booze. So I'm not going to pour all of it out. I'm actually going to get the cap and recap this. I'm going to have it during the evening. So I just wanted to look at the smoke pouring out there. Cool. I'll go straight down the middle. That ABV. That'll do. That will do. So I'm going to get the cap. Oh, that head looks absolutely amazing. Get the cap and I'm going to just temporarily put it on there like that. And we'll have some of that later as well. So what we're getting in the glass, apart from a dirty glass, what we're getting in the glass, jet black. Let's give it a swirl. Look at this, alcohol legs. It should be really, shouldn't it? 14.6. But yeah, into the light. Now it's jet black, and then you've got some really nice kind of almost caramelized brown sugar edges to the beer. But yeah, definitely alcohol legs. So anyway, this is the original Bourbon Barrel Aged Imperial Stout. Our primary focus every year is to make this beer the best that it's ever been, with the best ingredients, which includes the finest bourbon whiskey barrels. This year's Bourbon County Stout, this is the 2020 of course, is aged in a mix of bourbon barrels and a variety of whiskey distilleries, barrel aged for a year to develop the complexity that only time can provide. Bourbon County Stout boasts a unique blend of flavours such as fudge, vanilla, caramel, topped off with rich, complex mouthfeel. So there we go. Let's get it on the nose then. Oh, wow. I'm definitely getting that barrel aging process for sure. Definitely getting the bourbon. A little bit of oak. Yeah, oakiness, a little bit of booze. Is it a caramel stroke fudge? One of the two. Brown sugar, molasses. Fumes. You're getting a lot of fumes. I mean, I've just opened it up. This is at room temperature as well in this room, and it's obviously a little bit warmer out now. It's what, 50 degrees ish, and this room's, you know, it's probably about a little bit more than that. It's probably in the 60s sort of range, but this has been in this room since November, so yeah, There's quite a whack of bourbon. The more you get your nose into actual glass, just smells lovely. I mean, there is that sweetness there, touch of vanilla, not loads. More of a kind of a charness to it, roasty. It smells good. Let's give this a try. Cheers. Blimey. Now, this is the first beer of the day. First beer of the day. Yeah, I know. But as I said, I'm not going to be drinking. I'm doing a review now. Going into a live stream in a minute. And I thought, yeah, why not? Why not crack open one of these and enjoy it with a really special guest. So, booze. There is a little bit of booze there, a little bit of warmth, but it's not actually as boozy as I thought it was going to be. I'm used to drinking port wine. Don't do too many reviews of it, but every now and again I will have a port wine, probably once every couple of weeks, something like that. So I'm used to big alcohol kind of flavour. I mean, this is not to that level, but this is where it's mellowed slightly. I doubt it. It's fairly fresh, obviously. It's only last year's vintage. Whereas it's been a year. I don't know how long they actually put these beers in the actual bottle before they release it. A year in the barrel. So I would imagine it was probably the earlier part, maybe of 2019 for this year's or for 2020's vintage. And potentially last year's is going to be, or this year's vintage will be, it'll be coming out, or last year's vintage will be coming out the end of this year, November, I guess. I don't know how it works. I know a lot of people have said this year's vintage has been really good. People who have it every year, from contacts in the States, etc. But yeah, this is drinking far too easily for the ABV. There's a little bit of booze there, you expect it, but it's not off-putting in any kind of sense. Very smooth, creamy, almost, with a little bit of that kind of bourbon, just kind of on the back end. But then that lingers, lovely kind of brown sugar molasses coating the palate, rather than alcohol. It is boozy, don't get me wrong, but as I said, not in an off-putting way at all. Very smooth, definitely getting that kind of fudge caramel kind of vibe to the beer. It's not overly sweet with the vanilla, although the vanilla is there. Its presence is definitely being felt. Get that little bit of char, oakiness from the barrel. It's very complex. It's very, very complex. I mean, this is the only one, as far as I believe, that comes over to the UK every year. We don't get any of these variants, although there have been one or two in Europe, I believe, recently. We've got no chance of getting that for obvious reasons. Well, we're not going to go there. But yeah, they've got so many different variants that sound really good, barley wines, etc. It just list goes on. Yes, I know this is AB InBev, blah 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 blah, whatever. I don't care, because people who moan about that sort of thing, they always end up getting one of these. So it's like, that can just go away. This is a great beer. It's one of my bucket list beers that I've always wanted to try, and I've never really kind of been brave enough to. 20 quid a bottle in the UK. Varies in price in the States, quite a lot, you know, from the states that get this. I've had people say they rolled up somewhere and they got it for like $15, and it goes all the way up to like 25, maybe a little bit more. I'm sure you guys can tell me. But this is just lovely kind of pit of the stomach warming, with the alcohol, of course, that you're not really getting on my palate at least, but my stomach's saying yes, there is a bit of, when there should be, a bit of alcohol going on there. Body of the beer. I mean, whether or not the Bourbon Barrel kind of drops the body of the beer over a course of a year, this is kind of a upper end of a medium, low end of a full. As Paul would say from PA Brew News, it's a bit thin. Having said that, it's really kind of dangerously drinkable for the ABV, as I've said a few times. It's got quite a low carbonation. The body is there, don't get me wrong. But yeah, it's just I'm just trying to think the words to describe it. It's is it worth the money? Is probably a good one. It's for a special treat. It's definitely for a special occasion. One you're gonna not get too many of because of the the price factor or something like that. I've got another one which will probably be going to a bottle share once things settle down a bit. But yeah, overall a wonderful beer, and I'm glad I picked it up. Would I pay this again for a vintage, another vintage, maybe later this year? Yes, I would, for sure. Overall, wow, very, very nice indeed. Hints of coffee in there as well. There's like a slight dark kind of cocoa powder, baking chocolate thing going on there as well. But overall, wonderful. I just checked on Untapped actually. This vintage has had almost 30,000 total check-ins on Untapped, which speaks for itself, how popular this beer is, and that's just for a vintage. I haven't gone onto the whole generic thing on Untapped, but that's really damn impressive. But yeah, I would definitely buy this again. It's world class, despite who it's owned by the sounds of it. It looks like this beer has been, or the brewery's been left alone to get on with it the way you were before, and that's the positive out of it, and it's a great beer. So let me know if you've had this vintage or any other vintages before, or any other the actual variants that we obviously can't get in the UK. This is a Bourbon County Brown Stout from Goose Island in Chicago, Illinois. Yeah, let me know if you've had this vintage. Tell me what you think. Does it compare? This one compare better than other vintages recently, or what? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Be quite interesting to see what you think. Anyway, appreciate you watching this long review. Hope you're all keeping safe and all that good stuff. Please consider subscribing if you got this far. Thumbs up always helps me. You keep safe, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.